It's Tuesday, August 4, 2020. I'm Greg Nibbler, and this is Digital Trends Live. Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. We broadcast live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you trending tech headlines, news, interviews, discussions, and so much more. And let's get you started off with some trending news right now. The social media soap opera continues as ByteDance, the Chinese parent company of TikTok, has now received a recommendation by the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investments to divest itself of its interests in the U.S. And Trump has set the deadline of September 15th for them to either sell TikTok to a U.S.-based company or face an outright ban. Now, ByteDance is considering a number of options, including the establishment of global headquarters outside of the U.S., or, much more publicly, selling the company to Microsoft, which has expressed interest in buying one of the biggest social media platforms on the planet. Now, with over 2 billion downloads and 800 million active users, Microsoft would join the likes of Facebook as a social media powerhouse or utilize the user data it has in its servers. They could also combine it with LinkedIn. Trump also told Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella that, quote, a very substantial portion of that price is going to have to come into the Treasury of the United States because we're making it possible for this deal to happen. Now, I also have some breaking news. Apple is reportedly also now entering the fray as a possible competitor as well to buy TikTok. That would be a really interesting purchase. Now, they're denying it, but reports are they are in some negotiations. So details and players changing basically on an almost daily basis. It's hard to say where this is going to be at tomorrow, but I think it's safe to say a lot is going to happen between now and September 15th. Stay tuned at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on here with trending news, Twitter is expecting a fine of up to $250 million from the Federal Trade Commission for alleged privacy violations. Now, you may remember these allegations when they first came to light last year, but it has to do with Twitter's use of user phone numbers and email data that it compiled between 2013 and 2019. Twitter disclosed in October 2019 that it may have matched up data it had gathered for safety and security purposes with an advertiser's uploaded marketing list, which would be a violation of a 2011 consent order in which Twitter agreed to stop misleading its users regarding how it protects their personal data. Now, Twitter also said it put a stop to the practice in September of 2019 to make sure that phone numbers and emails were no longer matched up with targeted marketing campaigns. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the recent Twitter hack that allowed a hacker to access the accounts of multiple high-profile people in a Bitcoin scam. That person was actually arrested in a separate case. But if you want to read more details about this potential fine and how Twitter has said they've mitigated some of these concerns about management of your data, you can do so at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on with trending news, let's talk about PlayStation. Now, rumors abound as the PlayStation 5 is expected to be launching this fall, but we do know something about Spider-Man, and that's that he's going to be joining the upcoming Avengers live-action game. So, this is going to be a video game for a live service game, from developer Crystal Dynamics and publisher Square Enix, scheduled to launch on September 4th, 2020. Now, we first saw footage of the game way back at E3 in 2019, and there were some mixed reviews of how it looked. A key thing to remember is that this game is not associated with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in any way, which means the characters are going to look and sound different if that's what you're familiar with. Now, Spider-Man is going to be joining the video game crew in 2021 as an add-on character. Something else to keep in mind is that this also won't be a crossover with the popular Spider-Man standalone game and the impending sequels on PlayStation for that either. So another caveat is that Spider-Man will only be available as an add-on player for PlayStation, not for Xbox or PC users. Still, it proves the popularity of this character that this is making big news for fans, and the game will definitely be something that could persuade users to start planning on picking up a PS5 as they go forward here with that new one coming out, although it will be available for cross-generational play on the PS4. So again, that is coming out soon. Check that out at digitaltrends.com. And one more trending story. Let's talk about some phones. Samsung's Galaxy Unpacked event is scheduled to take place tomorrow, August 5th at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, broadcasting from Digital City, which is their headquarters in South Korea. Now, we know that the release of the Galaxy Note 20 and a smattering of other power devices, according to them, could be showcased, and there's a lot of leaks and rumors posted online. We have somewhat of an idea of what to expect. We know that Mystic Bronze, the color, is going to be highlighted. We can probably expect, based on past events, that the Note 20 is going to showcase some augmented reality features. We're also going to get to see the Galaxy Fold 2, the latest iteration of the foldable phones and the recently named Galaxy Z line of devices. We've also got a new watch that we're expected to see. We saw some leaks of that actually came out today. A new tablet, some new Galaxy Buds Live with unique bean-shaped design and functionality that's supposed to be a rival of the Apple AirPods. So a lot of excitement coming out from that tomorrow. And whatever platform you're watching us on right now, you can watch that event tomorrow as well. So hit that subscribe button and we'll take you live to it in whatever time zone you are in when it happens, just by hitting that subscribe button. You also go to digitaltrends.com and read more about the event right there. Now, speaking of phones, there was another big phone announcement yesterday with the Google Pixel 4a that was announced. And to talk about the Google Pixel 4a right now, we've got our own Andy Boxall joining us. Andy, hello. Thanks for being here. So tell us a little bit about this big announcement from Google.
Hi, Greg. Yeah, the Google Pixel 4a. We've been waiting for this. With the rumors, we've had the Pixel 3a cancelled, and finally the 4a is here. And I really think that it's one of the most important US phone releases of the year because it gives US buyers a wonderful choice. And that's something that buyers in the US don't always get when they're not looking to spend $1,000. The Pixel 4a is $350, and that's a bargain when you consider you get Google's wonderful software, their own proper version of Android, which is very clean and easy to use, and they get all their computational photography tech in the camera. So it takes pictures that many will look at and say, well, did this come from a phone that cost twice, 3 times that? This choice is exciting because now in 2020, if you love Android phones and you don't want to spend masses, you buy the Pixel 4a. If you love Apple devices, you can spend $400 and you can buy the iPhone SE 2020. And what a fantastic situation that is to be in. You can spend a sensible amount of money and get very capable, really good looking phones. And I'm going to call the Pixel 4a good looking because Google's done the right thing and made the screen bezel-less. They put a little hole punch camera in the corner. They've got rid of the bezels at the top and bottom, and it looks like a modern smartphone. What a brilliant thing to do. It's arguably what they should have done with the previous one, but they've done it. And you can go out and buy a proper Android phone. For that money, you don't need to spend $1,000. Really, really fantastic.
When it comes to the Pixel 4a, one of the things I always wonder is what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between the Pixel 4? Like, what are you losing in that between those two?
So the big difference here is, and arguably the big difference in what causes the price difference, is the processor in the internals. Inside the Pixel 4a is a Snapdragon 730G processor, and that's not the top-end 865 processor that you get in high-end Android phones that cost upwards of $900, the OnePlus 8 Pro, things like that. So you're paying less money because it's a less powerful phone. You also get a little bit less RAM, only get 128 gigabytes of storage space. It doesn't have an in-display fingerprint sensor, and it only has a single lens camera. It doesn't have a wide angle or a telephoto. But what you're missing out on those things, but arguably you're not, because you're gaining everything that you get in everyday usability, that great software. The speed is still plenty for most people. It'll do everything you want it to, play games and do all usual social networking and app stuff that you do. So for general everyday use, you probably won't notice a big difference between that and buying a really high-end phone, unless you want the big camera features or masses of power to do high-end gaming online all day. So that's the main reason for the price differences.
I love that what you brought up just at the beginning there. Just, this is good for U.S. customers as far as more mid-range phones. You have the Google. Perfect. You've got Google with the Pixel 4a. You've got the iPhone SE. Do you anticipate any other phones or manufacturers like Samsung coming in with one that's around that same price, or maybe they do already have one that would battle those two?
Well, they do already. They've got their excellent A series of phones. The A71 is coming to the US very soon. I think that's about $500, and the A51 is about $400. But they're not quite as technically competent, perhaps, or as desirable as the Google Pixel 4a or the iPhone. The big shame is that OnePlus didn't bring the OnePlus Nord out in the US. That probably would have come in exactly the same price. In the UK, it's £379, which would put it in direct competition with both of those phones. And it's a real shame they didn't launch that in the US. It would have been a great competitor. However, they've said they're going to bring something out soon along the same lines. So I think we're going to see a greater battlefield for mid-range phones over the next 6 months and into next year.
One quick final thing too, Google did make another announcement too about the Pixel 5 and a 5G version of the 4a. Do we know any details about those or when they're going to be rolling out?
Yeah, so the Pixel 4a that you buy now is a 4G phone. They will launch a Pixel 4a 5G later this year, so you'll be able to connect to 5G networks. And you're going to pay $499 for that phone when it's released. And I'd imagine there's going to be maybe a different processor inside, maybe a different battery to cope with the extra drain that 5G brings. The Pixel 5, it's great to know that it's coming officially, but we kind of already knew that Google would launch a Pixel 5. That's going to be their flagship smartphone, a replacement to last year's Pixel 4. So that's going to introduce all of their brand new camera tech, which we get really excited about, and also showcase the brand new version of Android 11, which will launch later in the year. Google said it's coming in the fall, but we don't know anything further than that period.
It's still really cool to see some more phones coming out, and I know there's the big Samsung event that's happening tomorrow that we'll be showcasing. But Andy, as always, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about what's going on in the world of mobile technology. And we've got all the details at digitaltrends.com as well, with reviews and everything else that's coming out this week. It feels like we're entering into phone season, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of new details and rumors and leaks coming out too before we see these releases. But Andy, as always, thank you so much.
Pleasure, no problem. Thanks, Greg.
Andy Boxall right here. And again, check out the reviews and details of everything about that at digitaltrends.com for everything we were just discussing. Coming up, we're going to have a YouTube star joining us. We got Overt Flow, aka PJ Britton, who's going to be joining us here on the show. Before that, though, we've got a video showcasing celebrity geeks. Hey, that's what's coming up next. So stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
When you think of Hollywood celebrities, what words come to mind? You're probably thinking of something like fashionable, popular, or chic. Well, surprisingly, there are a ton of nerds in Tinseltown. From speaking Klingon to building PCs from scratch, here are 5 celebs who love to get their geek on. First up, Superman himself. Henry Cavill is most noted for playing the Man of Steel, but when Zack Snyder called him to tell him he got the role, he missed it because he was in the middle of a raid on World of Warcraft. Imagine this, you're an actor auditioning day in and day out to get your big break, and you miss it because you're playing video games. Luckily, he did see the call and got back to the director right away, so he didn't lose the part. But as Cavill said himself,
I was playing World of Warcraft at the time, and I had my priorities straight.
The Witcher star's nerdiness doesn't stop there. He's such a massive gamer, he wanted to build his own beefy PC from scratch. He posted the video on his Instagram, and unlike his PC, the internet was overheated watching Cavill build his own computer. I couldn't tell what was hotter, him building the PC or the fact that he was actually reading the instructions. It made us fellow nerds feel better about ourselves that even Superman himself geeks out off screen too. Hey, if the acting thing dries up, I'm sure plenty of offices would be more than happy to hire him as their new IT guy. Snoop Dogg usually reps the West Coast, but he also reps Westeros. That's right, he is a huge Game of Thrones fan and claimed in an interview with the New York Post that he watches it for historic reasons because he believes it's based on true events. He even created a song called Lannister's Anthem. Are you even a true fan of something if you don't make a rap song about it? His TV geeking out doesn't stop there. He even has a giant mural of Star Trek in his house. Snoop isn't a newcomer to video game nerds. He's been a character in several games over the years. Everything from Tekken, Call of Duty, Madden, and more. He plays video games all the time and, just like the rest of us, has totally been caught rage quitting. Snoop is launching his own video gaming platform called Snoop Dogg's Rap Empire. It's a mobile game where players can start their own rap career, sign a label, and become a hip-hop mogul. I was already a big fan of Snoop Dogg, but now that I know he geeks out too, he is a true national treasure. Whether it's Fast and the Furious, XXX, or the Chronicles of Riddick, Vin Diesel exclusively plays a badass in movies. So you think he'd be the last guy to be a geek, but that is far from the case. Both his muscles and nerdiness are massive. Diesel has been a huge fan of Dungeons & Dragons since he was 11 years old. He doesn't just casually play it though, he is a hardcore stan. He wrote the foreword for the book 30 Years of Adventure, a celebration of Dungeons & Dragons. Also in the movie XXX, his character had the tattoo Melkor on his stomach, which is the name of his half-drow elf character within the game. Melkor actually helped inspire Diesel's movie The Last Witch Hunter. Although it was a flop, it let him express one of his personal interests on the big screen. Vin Diesel is not shy when it comes to letting the public see his inner nerd. He runs his own Facebook page where he posts pictures of his D&D cake and belts out to karaoke alone. Vin Diesel is an unashamed nerd and I love him for it. Do you have any wheat? How about any ore? These are things superstar actress Mila Kunis has actually said. That's right, she's a big Settlers of Catan fan. I'm really curious what her strategy is. Does she go for the longest road, largest army, or is she a settlement or city kind of player? All I know is sitting down for a couple hours and settling with Mila Kunis would be a dream. Kunis didn't stop her nerdiness at Catan. She's also known for being a huge World of Warcraft and Star Trek fan. Her ex-boyfriend Macaulay Culkin got her into World of Warcraft. But unfortunately for the WoW community, she's gone cold turkey because it took up a lot of her time and her friends stopped playing. If playing WoW wasn't nerdy enough, she named her in-game mage character Captain Picard, in homage to Star Trek: The Next Generation's fearless leader. Kunis has been a Trekkie since she was 10 years old and is such a nerd about it that she's thought about reaching out to J.J. Abrams to ask if she could just be an extra or have a cameo in the movies. Mila Kunis, may you live long and prosper. Last on my list is the late, great Robin Williams. He was the king of the nerds. Video games, Dungeons & Dragons, Cowboy Bebop. If it was kinda nerdy, he was into it. Williams said in an interview with Nintendo that when The Legend of Zelda came out, he was glued to the screen. Him and his wife would play it for hours on end. They loved it so much that they named their daughter Zelda. When Nintendo decided to remake Ocarina of Time for the 3DS, they had real-life Zelda and her dad help announce it. Reportedly, his son was also named after the video game character Cody from Final Fight. Fans knew he liked gaming, but it wasn't really until after his death that fans found out he loved playing World of Warcraft. Fans even petitioned to have a non-player character modeled after Robin Williams. The man truly was a Renaissance nerd. It just goes to show it doesn't matter if you're one of the biggest movie stars around or you live in your mom's basement. There's a geek in all of us. Who's your favorite nerdy celebrity? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Riley Wynn with Digital Trends, and thanks for watching.
Hey, welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Again, thanks for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. It's now time for our segment, Who's Got Game, where we partner with Fullscreen to bring on talented gamers, creators, and so much more. And joining us right now, we've got Overt Flow, otherwise known as PJ Britton. Hello, thanks for being here.
What's up? Good morning. Can you hear me well? How is everything?
I can hear you. You sound good. You look good. We're good to go. So let's do this, though. Actually, I want to talk to you just about something because you've been doing this for so long, and one thing I'm always interested in is just back at the beginning, what made you want to get into gaming, creating content online? Was there a moment where you're just like, of inspiration, where it's just like, this is what I want to do, or how did that all come about?
So basically, I started doing Call of Duty videos back in 2010, and at that time, I was training jiu-jitsu, doing a little bit of boxing. Obviously, a very little bit for my Logan Paul KSI fight, but I hurt my shoulder, and I went to find some tips and tricks online. I saw people making content, doing commentary over the gameplay, and I was like, I could probably do this. And after I was in it for, I don't know, a while, I realized that some people were making money from it. So I tried to pursue that side, and it's turned out pretty good. I get to, my job is something that I love. It's very, very cool.
And so with that, you started making this content. Now, you were doing this like 10 years ago. I mean, and just to see the changes in the industry, what's it been like for you? What's been the biggest, the best change, I guess, that you've seen over the last 10 years?
You know what? I think that it was such a niche thing, and it's still pretty niche. But even regardless of the last 10 years, even in the last 3 years, I've seen such gigantic changes and leaps forward. Like a few years ago, it was a tough, difficult thing for me to get a brand deal for $1,000. And now, I have dozens of those in my inbox, no problem. And I think that guys like FaZe Clan or Ninja, these guys are pushing the gaming thing to the forefront where people actually take content creation and gaming and streaming much more seriously, which is awesome. I think that it does wonders for the whole industry, the whole community. That's been my favorite thing to see.
What's been the one piece of tech that you think has been the most advantageous that's come out over the last 3 years?
The one piece of tech, I don't know if there's any specific thing that I could really pinpoint, but I don't know. Gaming in general has gotten amazing over the past few years. PC gaming, the consoles are all amazing. I don't think there's one piece of tech that I could really pinpoint, to be honest.
Well, when we talk about platforms, because you're on a number of platforms, but TikTok in particular has been huge for you. You're one of the top gamers on there. Talk to us about what makes TikTok unique, and then I got a couple of follow-up questions for you on that. But what makes TikTok unique when it comes to gaming?
Okay, so TikTok is probably one of the best platforms that I've ever used. As far as the algorithm is concerned, it can take anybody's content and make it big. Some platforms you already have to have a following base for them to really spread your content around or get it recommended. But with TikTok, the way the algorithm is, you could be somebody starting today and have a video that reaches 500,000 views tomorrow. If it's a good video that that you watch through, that you enjoy, it will spread it around to such a large audience. And that's probably one of my favorite features about TikTok. So you get a good gaming clip, you get a funny comedy sketch or whatever it is, you put it up there. If it's good, it's going to get views. And that's probably my favorite thing about the app.
Now, how do you feel about this potential ban of TikTok or even sale to Microsoft or other companies?
So with the potential ban, obviously everybody who's a creator, I'm one of the top gaming creators on the platform, and I actually have worked a ton with them on the gaming side. And it's it is a scary thing. I do believe that TikTok is on the up and up, right? I believe they do everything necessary to comply. And as far as the potential sell to Microsoft, I think that if they can come through and they're going to purchase it and keep everything going the same way in the US, I mean, as long as we get to keep TikTok around, that would be amazing.
Looking at it going from there too, talking about just social media in general, and you are you're on these platforms, you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube, you're on everywhere else that you're gaming. What is that experience like working with all of those, and what would you recommend somebody if they wanted to start off in gaming, follow your path? How do you think they should go about doing that, and what platform?
Okay, so for right now, if you're going to become a gamer and you're going to do this seriously as a full-time job, you have to take advantage of all the different platforms and their different uses, right? You need Twitter to interact with your community. You should be streaming on Twitch, so that because that's such a big revenue stream four guys in the social media game. You get to interact with your community and have them see you in a real kind of a live situation. Make your edited YouTube videos, your highlights from your streams or whatever it is. Use your Instagram, make that look cool. Build it for your sponsors, build it for your fans. TikTok, use that. TikTok is the most excellent marketing platform for all that other stuff. You can put your highlights there, your cool moments. You can direct people to your Twitch, to your Twitter. And I think that just being consistent and uploading on a consistent basis, uploading quality content on a consistent basis is really all you need. There's no secret ingredient to this whole game, right? Hard work gets you somewhere. And I think that that's the main thing that you got to know.
What hardware would you recommend?
What hardware would I recommend? You definitely need a PC, right? If you're gonna be a console gamer, you need your PlayStation, your Xbox. You need your Elgato capture card. You need your headset. You need your SCUF controller. You need your PC or your laptop, whatever it is that you're gonna be using to record the gameplay. And that's about it. Obviously, a monitor. Get yourself some G Fuel if you need that, And that's about all you need.
Nice. Well, what's on the horizon for you? With everything happening right now, and you've seen the expanse of this. You've clearly adapted. You're doing amazing at this. But what's next? What's on the horizon for Over at Flow? What can people look forward to?
Ooh, what's next? Well, if TikTok's gonna stick around, right, which we're all hoping, then I do have some pretty big plans for a little bit later this year. I'm getting some of the biggest TikTok gamers. I'm gonna put them all in one house. We're gonna have a content house, and there's gonna be a ton of video content coming out of there. And so some big names that a lot of people know are going to be included in this. And I think that it's going to be something exciting for everybody, for the audience, for everybody in the industry. It's going to be awesome. So that's the current plan for me.
Nice. Well, PJ, thank you so much for joining us here to talk about this, talk about your experience with that, and everything that's going on. And appreciate you being here with us here on Digital Trends Live.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me.
Awesome. PJ Britton right here, Overt Flow, right here on Digital Trends Live, talking about his experience in gaming. He's been around for a long time with it. That is a guy who knows what he's talking about, so check out all of his content there as well. And thank you to everybody who joins us for our content here every single day, broadcasting live, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, whatever platform you're watching on. Great. Hit subscribe, share the show, let other people know about it. We're on a bunch of them, but we appreciate you very much. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we've got Winnie's son for some more financial news that will make sense to everybody, and that includes me, so she always helps us out. And of course, we've got TBD with Jess and Adrian. What's it going to be about? I don't know. That's why it's TBD. That's why you got to tune in. So like I said, hit subscribe, join the show here every single weekday. I'm Greg Nibbler. I'll see you right back here tomorrow with another edition of Digital Trends Live.